Beth's engagement ring fell into the swimming pool. The two sisters quickly dove in to search for it, but the ring wasn't found. Instead, Lucy's hair got caught in the filter. Beth rushed over to help her. The pool manager, thinking no one was around, shut off the pool's power. Beth pulled on Lucy's hair with all her strength, and they both swam desperately to the surface. But it was too late. They screamed for help, but no sound came from outside. They pushed on the cover above them, but it wouldn't budge. The two sisters had no choice but to look for another way out. They noticed a small hole in the cover, but it was too small to fit even one hand through. Beth found a plastic piece, hoping to widen the hole, but it didn't work at all. It was then that Lucy finally told the truth. The ring was actually thrown into the pool on purpose. She had done it out of jealousy. Beth didn't argue with her, and once again, she dove to the bottom of the pool to retrieve the ring. While there, she noticed the drain grate at the bottom was loose. She used all her strength to try to pull it out, but it wouldn't budge. She called Lucy over to help, but Lucy didn't think it would work. At that moment, the pool lights turned off, and Beth covered her head, pale-faced. It turned out she had diabetes, and she needed insulin urgently, but all her medication was in the bag on the shore. Seeing her sister in pain, Lucy finally calmed down. She picked up the plastic piece and tried again to widen the hole. At that moment, the pool light suddenly turned back on. It turned out the cleaner had arrived. The sisters banged on the glass and shouted, but the cleaner started going through Beth's bag, then turned off the pool's security cameras. She walked up to them and said she had been to prison for stealing. She had just been released and was in a lot of debt, with a daughter to care for. Now, she desperately needed money. She forced the sisters to give her their bank card password. Lucy cursed her angrily, and the cleaner, enraged, turned off the pool's heating system. The water started getting colder. Beth had no choice but to give the password. The cleaner said she needed to confirm it first. In the freezing water, the sisters were shivering uncontrollably. The cleaner came back, but she refused to open the cover. She said there was only $80 in the account. Lucy begged her to let them out, saying Beth's diabetes was getting worse, but the cleaner didn't believe her. Lucy decided to take revenge. She tricked the cleaner to the hole, then used the plastic piece to stab her in the ear. The cleaner, now completely furious, opened the pool's cleaning system. The pool began spraying chlorine gas. Weak and exhausted, Beth sank into the water. Lucy panicked, dragging her sister to the hole for air. As they neared the end of their strength, the cleaner, afraid of a fatal outcome, turned off the cleaning system. She returned and demanded that Beth hand over the ring. She figured the ring could be worth something. The cleaner walked to the control room, preparing to open the cover, but the system prompted that the password was incorrect. It turned out the manager had already changed the password. The cleaner decided to leave them to their fate, and walked off. Now, their only hope of escape was the iron grate at the bottom of the pool, but because Lucy's hair had been tangled in the drain earlier, she had developed a fear of it. Still, now she was the only one who could save her sister. She gathered her courage and dived to the bottom, pulling at the iron grate with all her might. She failed the first time, and again on the second. Finally, she grabbed a swimsuit to use as leverage, and this time, the grate came loose. Lucy swam toward the surface, hope filling her chest, but when she reached Beth, she found that her sister had stopped breathing. Panicking, Lucy performed CPR on her, and Beth finally woke up. Lucy used the iron grate to break open the cover. Dragging her sister up, she quickly injected insulin into Beth, but when she looked up, the cleaner had returned. It turned out she was afraid the sisters would report her to the police if they survived, so she planned to deal with them herself. Lucy held her sister close, crying and promising the cleaner that they wouldn't call the police. The cleaner came closer. In that critical moment, Lucy thought of the cleaner's weak spot, and said, "What will happen to your daughter if you kill us?" Those words had an effect. The cleaner lowered the gun, and even returned the ring to them. Lucy immediately called for an ambulance, keeping her promise to let the cleaner leave. The sisters were finally saved. After watching the movie, please share your thoughts. The movie is from the US, titled 12 Feet Deep.